The subject of kosher meat is a very, very full and complicated subject. When you hold a piece of meat, you actually are holding a shtikale of a lot of lavim, mitzvot aseh, krituyot, a lot of gufei Torah. In one piece of meat, I don't think that there's any other food that in one piece can be so many questions and details and mitzvot and lavim. Just we can count a part of them. I'm not sure that I'll remember all of them. You have v'zavachta, mitzvah taseh, lo taseh lo tochal kol nevela, kol בהמה טהורה תאכלו, ומפרסת פרסה שעושה צ'סה, אם זה עוף, so you have also ואת אלה לא תאכלו, and you have חלב, you have גיד הנשה, you have דם, did you do מליחה to that meat, you have אותו ואת בנו, you can have כיסוי הדם, מצוות עשה, you can have מחוסר זמן, 7 ימים יהיה תחת אמו, ומיום השמיני והלאה ירצה. You can have in the same piece also שאלה of טרפות. What is טרפה? That's what we're going to speak today. What is טרפה? טרפה means, it says, לא תאכל ובשר בשדה טרפה, פרשת משפטים. לא תאכלו לכלב תשליכון אותו. Meat that is טרפה, don't eat. What is טרפה? We know that in לשון הקודש, טורף, the פועל of טורף, טרף, טרף נתן לרעב. What is טרף נתן לרעב? Means to eat something else, to eat somebody else. That's טרף. טרפה means, in English it's carnivore, okay? Now one animal eats the other animal. That's טרפה. So Harambam says that the real טרפה, that the pasuk is meaning, is only one of the trefot. It's not all the trefot. The pasuk says, "Basar basadeh trefa," he means meat of an animal that other animal came and hit it in order to catch it or to eat it, and that hit, that smack, made the behema to be a trefa. Trefa means something that was hidden by a carnivore. I'm sorry for my English. I left this country when I was 6 years old. My English is a 6 years old English, okay? So, that's trefa. And when we see in the pasuk trefa, it means that it got hit by an animal. And Rambam adds, he says, after the pasuk was megale lanu sheze beima trefa asur le'echol ota, so ma li shikta ota chayat hayar, ma li shikta ota even or etz. What is the difference if she got a smack from a lion or she got it from a stone or a stick or something that fell on her, or that the behema fell? It's all called trefa. It's like it got hit by a chaya. So all the things that happen to organs of the behema, and the behema can't live more than 12 months. That's the geder of trefa. מהי טרפה? כל שאינה חיה 12 חודש. It can't exist more than 12 months. Here we have a big שאלה. What about today? Today, when the science can make a lot of surgeries and medications, that a behemoth, for example, that has a hole in the lung or a hole in the intestine, it can live for more than 12 months. Is it that trefa or not? Rambam says, כל מה שהוא טרפה, אפילו יבואו הרופאים ויאמרו שהיא חיה, לא שומעים להם. We don't listen to them. And we have a explanation of a Chazon Ish. Also Reb Moshe Feinstein brings that in Digros Moshe. Chazon Ish makes it more alive. He puts in a lot of details. It says in the Gemara Ba'avodah Zarah, Shit alfei shinin have alma. The world is for 6,000 years. Alpaim shana tohu, that means empty, nothing. Nothing. Alpaim shana without Torah, so it's empty. Alpaim Torah, that's 2,000 years from Avraham Avinu till Chatimat Talmud. Ravashi veRavina. That's Chatimat Talmud, 2,000 years. And then Alpaim Shana Yemot HaMashiach. Yemot HaMashiach means all from the Churban till the Geula. All the things that will happen to Am Yisrael. That's Yemot HaMashiach. Now, and then Elef Echad ze Shabbat, Yom Shekulo Shabbat. The Geula. So Chazon Ish says the Alpaim Torah means that Hashem gave the permission to the Chachamim to create the Torah. The Torah is not only Torah shebichtav, it's also Torah shebe'al peh. So Chachamim had time to give us all the details of the Torah, and that is according to the situation and the knowledge of those days. So the Ilchot Trefot, they gave us according to their days. And we think that today is better than then. It's not. It's not true. Chazon Ish says, Adrabah, Chizkiyahu HaMelech ganaz a sefer refuot. Chizkiyahu HaMelech got from Shlomo HaMelech, from his grandfather, a book that there you see any disease, anything, you can look there. Okay, he's sick in this, eat this, do that, you'll be healthy. Chizkiyahu, Gemara bePerek Chelek, says Chizkiyahu ganaz sefer refuot, because people, when they were sick, they opened the sefer and they looked up, oh, I have to drink 2 cups of water with 5 pills and that's it. And they didn't daven to Hashem. So Chizkiyahu said, I'll throw away, I'll ignore the sefer refuot. The Gemara says there, כמה דברים עשה חזקיהו המלך, היה water. חלק מהם לא הודו לו חכמים, חלק מהדברים שעשה חזקיהו המלך, חכמים הודו לו. אחד מהם שגנז ספר רפואות, very good. So people won't trust themselves, won't trust the doctors, they will pray to Hashem. That's the best thing to do. But, he says, Hashem had rachamim on Am Yisrael. No refuot, nothing, so people will be sick and die, chas v'shalom. So what does Hashem do? Hashem, every few years, He gives us back one of the refuot of the Sefer Refuot. We see the science today, wow, they discovered all the, let's say, vaccines, and they discovered medications, and they're very chachamim. No. Chizkiyahu HaMelech, he knew everything already. Chachamim knew everything. We forgot everything. Now Hashem is letting us to know 1 thing, 2 things. It's nothing. The whole Sefer Refuot. So he says, so also, there are new Refuot that come back, but some Refuot we still don't know. And the Chachamim, they knew them. They knew them. So that's the reason that we have some trefot that are trefa in the halacha, but today there's no medication, nothing to do with it. For example, nitlu aklayot. If you no kidneys, today they can do or dialysis, yes, or they can take, somebody can donate a kidney, okay? But in those days we don't know that they had those things. And even though somebody has no, not somebody, a behema that has no kidneys is not trefa, nitlu aklayot kshera. So how can that be? Today, a behema like that will die. Arav Zamir Cohen, Sheikhia, he brings in his sefer that they discovered now that you're right, that a person will die, but behemot can live. Behema shimala gera, not all the behemot. Behema shimala gera, all the liquids can come out through the stomach. They don't need the kidneys. And they made, it's brought also in Sefer Tmunei Chol, of Arav Lach, he brings that. So, here, he brings that. Here. So, but the other answer can be that in those days they had a medication, something, but it was in the Sefer of Chizkiyahu Melech. We don't have it anymore. But it has to go according to the Alpaim Torah. We have 2,000 years to make the Torah. That's from Avraham Avinu till Mimatan Torah. After Avraham Avinu till Ravashi Veravina. After Ravashi Veravina, then is Chatimat Talmud. We close the gates. We can't change anything. So Hilchot Trefot goes according to those 2,000 years. Anything that they knew, they were able to cure. So it's not trefa. Something that they didn't know is trefa, or there's something that we don't know. They knew, or the opposite. Things that we know and they didn't know, so it's trefa, even though today we can fix it, we can do something. So that's the inyan, and the Teshuvot HaRashba, he brings Siman Tzadik Vav, I think, Tzadik Zayin. He brings that there was somebody Chacham be'enav. He thinks that he knows everything. So he said, look, if you have a broken bone in your chicken, don't say it's trefa. Bring me. I'll keep it in my backyard. If it will live more than 12 months, it's okay for you. And if I take some other chicken like that, and I see that they live, so anytime it happens, it's kasher, because it can live for 12 months. So Rashba says, no, if the Torah said it's trefa, it won't help you to do that check. That check, that exam to see 12 months is only besafek trefa. If you have safek trefa, then you leave it 12 months, and you see if it lives, so it's not trefa. If it dies, so it's trefa. But you can't do that in Vadai. In the case of Vadai against Chachamim, Chachamim said, it's trefa. Okay? One of the trefot is nikva hare'ah. The body, all the bodies, the animals, of people, they have a lung. What is the lung? The animal breathes. There is a pipe, the windpipe. All the air comes in the windpipe. And then the lung is like a balloon. It blows up. And inside you have there like a factory that takes apart all the parts of the air. The oxygen that the body needs goes to the blood. And the rest that the body doesn't need goes out when we take out the air. And that's the lung, the re'ah. It's very, very necessary for life, because if there will be no oxygen in the blood, so the brain doesn't get oxygen, and can be after a few minutes, he's dead. Okay? So therefore, the Mishnah brings Chai Trefot, 18 Trefot. One of the Trefot is Nikva Re'ah. Nikva Re'ah. What are the other Trefot, Chai Trefot? Can I have this? We have the whole body. We have not only a lung, we have the heart. The heart is here. We have the heart. The heart, if there's a hole in the heart, it's also trefa. The leg, if it breaks from the knee, on top of the knee, trefa. The skull, if you have a hole in the main brain of the moach, of the brain, it's trefa. So why do Chachamim, they didn't tell us to check all those things? We only check the lungs. Why don't we open the skull and see if the main brain is whole, or all the stomach, see that there's no holes in the stomach? We have to go over the whole beima. So Rashi says, we have halacha that azlinan bataruba, and even the Gemara Chulin Daf Yud Aleph asked, Mina adamu amru rabanan azlinan bataruba. From where do Chachamim know that? And the Gemara brings a lot of rayot. One of the rayot is that you can bring korban, like korban Pesach, and you don't have to break it apart and check all the trefot. You say rov be'emot ksherot. What is rov? We know in the yeshivas, they say we have rov and we have chazaka. Okay? Ruba v'chazaka, ruba adif. Why? Why is ruba adif? Because chazaka is like, I don't know what's happening, so meanwhile, till I find out, I keep thinking like I used to think before. Chazaka de mi'ikara. Okay? That's chazaka. But it doesn't tell you that really that's the position now. Okay? But Rov is stronger than chazaka. Why? Because Rov, it says in the Torah, Acharei rabim le'atot. Or we have a klal of Chachamim. Rubo ikechuloi. Rubo ikechuloi makes a position. Rubo, even though you see Rubo, Chachamim consider it as kulo. It's completed. You did Rov Siman, so you did the whole Siman. So now we have a position, we have a situation that everybody agrees. That rov be'emot ksherot. Why? Because Hashem created the world and He put animals, and all the animals are alive. So if they're alive, they live more than 12 months. So most of the be'emot must be ksherot. Also most of the ofot, they must be kasher. Because you see chicken walking always around here. So they're kasher. So you don't have to, the Gemara says, Samchina naruba. You don't have to check any trefa in the chicken or in the beima. But Rashi says there, Rashi says, and the Shulchan Aruch also brings that להלכה. אין צריך לבדוק, סימן למ"ט, יורה דעה, אין צריך לבדוק אחר שום טרפות מן הסתם. If you don't see any reuta, if you see a reuta, you see the cow carrying one leg like that, and she doesn't walk good. So it's a reuta, you must check the leg. Okay? But if you see a cow walking, everything okay, with a cow, so it's kasher. Why not? רוב בהמות כשרות. But הריאה, Rashi says in דף י"ב, and also דף נון, ריאה יש מיעוט המצוי של סרחות. The lashon of the trefut of ריאה is נקבע ריאה, only a hole. But and hole in the ריאה is not so common. But sircha is common. What is a sircha? Sircha means that a string is coming out of the lung and attached to one of the parts of the lung or to the wall of the ribs or to the heart or other places that are next to the lung, and it's attached. It's like a string. Looks like a... Yes, but it's more hard than lecha. How does it happen? So we have machloket Rashi v'Tosfot. Rashi says, how does it happen? It happens because when the be'imah breathes, it has humidity in the air, and those liquids go into the lung, and then if there's a hole in the lung, so the liquids come out from that hole, and they drip and drip and drip, and outside of the lung they become hard, and then they attach whatever they hit. If they hit the rib, so they attach the lung to the rib. If they hit some other place, so that's the sirchot. And Tosafot say, no, the opposite. The lung has, the membrane of the lung has like very tiny holes that always they take out the liquids. And the sirchot, they come all the time. If the sircha will be from one lobe of the lung to the other lobe, here you see, we have the lobes of the lung, like fingers of the lung. If the string is from one lobe to the next one, so it will never tear because they're close to each other, and the lobes are lying one on top of the other, and they're holding the string, that the string won't tear off. But if the string will be from one lobe to the lobe down here, or to the heart, or to the other places, so then one side of the string pulls from one direction, the other one from the other direction, till it will tear off, and there will be a nekev in the re'ah. And the Tosafot say, al shum sofo, trefa al shum sofo. We have a klal, כל העומד להיגזז כגזוז דמי, כל העומד להיקצר כקצור דמי. So also כל סרחה עומדת להינקב כנקוב דמי. It's like we have already a nekev, and that's the reason it's trefa. So we have Rashi and Tosfot, but they both agree that the sircha is trefa if it's from to a place that is not protected. Not two parts of the re'ah lie on each other. If it goes to the, or not also the ribs where they are narrow and they cover the lung, also it can help. So now, Rashi says, the sircha is trefa. But you can't say by the sirchot, you can't say azlinan bataruba. Because the fact is that we have mi'ut hamatzui. Mi'ut hamatzui shel sirchot. What is mi'ut hamatzui? How do you know what is mi'ut hamatzui? No clear opinion about that. There are a few opinions and it's like a very wide scale of numbers. One of the Rishonim, the only Rishon that spoke about that, is Rivash, Rabbeinu Yitzchak bar Sichat. He brings in the Tshuvot Rivash, he says, Kol shehu karov lemechetza. What is karov lemechetza? So also we have Poiskim, Chacham Ovadia, he says karov lemechetza means 40%. That's karov lemechza. Mechza is 50%, so 40% is karov lemechza. 30%, no, 49. That's we say miut matzui. 49, we won't call it miut matzui. That 49 is not miut. So 40, like 40. 30, but not less than 30. 30 is not karov lemechza. Some other poskim say 26%. Why? Because the middle between the mechza and not mechza is 25. So 26 is karov lemechza. We start to be karov lemechza. Okay? There's Tshuvot Mishkenot Yaakov. He says that miuta matzui is 10%. He brings in Tshuvot Mishkan Yaakov, Siman Tedvav, Tedzayin, Yudzayin. He brings a lot of reayot that 1 from 10, that is miuta matzui. And the Machmir Agadol in this thing is Shevet HaLevi, Zatzal. He says, miuta matzui is not percents. It's not statistics. Miuta matzui is that it's not something strange. It's something common. So things that every Bet Mitbachaim, every mashcheta, you go and you hear about them. We have this, we have sircha, we have this. That is miuta matzui. Miuta matzui is something that happens every day. It's common in every place.
It's going to the Rivash?
No.
So it's not. So
He doesn't bring the Rivash. Nobody brings the Rivash. Only Rav Ovadia. But they didn't see the Rivash. Mishkenot Yaakov has 3 simanim. He doesn't bring the Rivash. And there was Rivash in his days. Because the Rivash doesn't say a number. He says, Karov lemechza. What is Karov lemechza?
What's considered to be Karov lemechza?
He doesn't mention. Shevet HaLevi says, anything that is a surprise, that's not miuta matzui. Look what happened. The leg was broken. Why? Who did that? When did it happen? You're surprised? That's not miuta matzui. That's mute. But if you say, there's a sircha. Always there's sirchot. Every day I see sirchot. Yeah, sirchot. His lashon is, כל דבר שמצוי ההיתר עם האיסור ביחד, זה נקרא מיעוט המצוי.
זה כבר לא מיעוט המצוי, זה הרוב המצוי. It's every day.
But it's not רוב, because it's less than 50%. It's less than 50%.
אבל אם מדברים על זה כל כך הרבה, אז זה הרבה כבר.
But it doesn't pass, זה לא עובר את הרוב. זה מיעוט.
אחוז החסימה.
זה מיעוט מצוי. יש מיעוט שאינו מצוי, או שקוראים לזה בפוסקים מיעוטה דמיעוטה. כן? אבל מיעוטה מצוי, that means it's מיעוט, but it's מצוי, it's common, we speak about it, we see it. Okay? What is the nafkamina? Nafkamina for the lungs of the chicken. Because Rambam says, לא שמענו ולא ראינו בכל המדינות המערב והמזרח מי שבודק ריאה של העוף. Nobody checks ריאה של העוף. Why? There's no miuta matzui there. The off. One of the major problems of the trefot in our days is the way we breed, the way we grow the behemoth and the ofot. If the chicken used to be one chicken or two chickens going around in the backyard and jumping on the fence and eating food from the garbage, okay? So those chicken were very healthy. They had no she'elav tzomet agidim in their legs because they were active all the time. So the muscles of the legs were strong. And they had no problems in their lungs because they were breathing fresh air and everything was okay. Today, they engineer the chicken to be a special chicken. They call it the broiler. What does that mean, the broiler? You can take it straight from the bag to the broiler, to the broil, to barbecue. Yes? So it must be very, very soft, with less bones, small legs, small wings, and don't let it do any exercise or move, because then he gets muscles and the meat won't be soft. And he has to eat less and grow more. All the time they're processing. How can we make the chicken that he eats less and gives weight more? If a chicken, let's say 60 years ago, in order to bring a chicken for shchita, you had to grow it 7 months, and after 7 months, you got a rooster, almost, that he was like, I don't know in pounds, he was, 2
kilograms.
no 2 kilo, kilo 400, kilo and a half, that's it. And also it wasn't meat, it was bones, long wings, long legs. Today, you get, in 5 weeks, it's ready for shchita, and it's 2 kilo, and most of it is meat. The bones are small. So what happens? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the chicken, he made the legs of the chicken ready for carrying 1.5 kilos. Now they have to carry 2 kilos. Oh, and the age so young, they have to carry so much. So what happens? They break, the gidim, the legs break. And also, if the chicken are now closed in a house with 20,000 other chicken, okay? So, and they have no fresh air, and if one of them sneezes, they all catch the flu. Yes. So, therefore, the trefot of today, we caused them. We made the trefot. In those days, the chicken was healthy, and also the cow was healthy. If I want to get, Shulchan Aruch says that what you have to check the re'ah, okay? But what is the re'ah that is allowed to eat? You're allowed to eat re'ah that has no sirches, no strings. In those days was common. The cow grew outside. You see, today they breed a special breed for meat that is heavy and has a lot of meat. And there's another breed for milk. Cows that give a lot of milk, but their meat, their flesh is not meshubach for eating. Okay? And also by the chicken, you have egg layers. It's special for eggs. But the meat of those egg layers is like a piece of wood. It's dry and hard. But the other chicken is the broiler that it's special for. How do they do that? They take from the whole lul. How do you say lul? Chicken house. Okay? They find who's the one that gave weight, the most fast one and the heavy one, and they make a shiduch. They take the chicken, the hen that was like him, and they did a shidduch, and the children, half of them are fat, half are skinny. All the skinny ones they throw to the garbage, and they grow the fat ones. And again, and again, and again, until they have the whole chicken. They're like that, okay? So now, they're looking to, it's a factory for meat. So that causes a lot of more trefuyot. So according to Shevet HaLevi, anything that is spoken, that we speak about, so you have to be choshesh, and mechuyav b'dika, like the lungs. So now if today they speak, oh, you know that today the chicken, their lungs, we have, I don't know how to call it, gidul, they have bumps in the lungs, or pus, things that diseases in the lung. So you say, yes, it's common, it happens because you grow them like that, huh? So that's already miuta matzui, lefi Shevet HaLevi. And also if you do, according to Mishkenot Yaakov, 10%, sometimes there's a cage or a village that all the chicken have that thing. So it's more than 10%. So you have to, some poskim say, today in Eretz Yisrael, you have to check each chicken, the lungs, even though Rambam said you don't have to. But you have to do that. בסדר. לא משנה, אבל עכשיו אתה חייב לבדוק. According to Rashi says that anything that is miuta matzui, so if it changes, so you're mechuyav. That was the machloket between the Mishkenot Yaakov and Rosh Ephraim. Rosh Ephraim, he said, no, the Ramban brings Midrash Tanchuma that Bdikat HaRe'ah is a special takana shel Chachamim. That they made a takana that you're not allowed to eat before Bdika because you can find the sirches afterwards when you eat it. That he brings that from the Rashbo, the Rabbeinu Yonah, and they said that from Midrash Tanchuma. They brought the Makor. So it's a special takana. But if you have Re'ah shel Of, Rambam said there's no takana by Of. Even if the Ofot change, I don't care. There's no takana, I don't have. And the Rosh Ephraim says the shaila that they had in those days was the skull of calves in one town. They found a lot of calves, more than 10%, that they have a sharp bone that makes a hole in the membrane of the moach. So Mishkenot Yaakov measured, and he said, oh, it's more than 10%. Now we have to open all the heads of the calves and check the brains. But Rosh Ephraim says, no, there's no takana. Shecht the be'ema and take the head and sell it to the goy and tell him to open it in his house, not in front of you. If he finds trefa, it's not your business. You checked what are you supposed to check.
Well, we find that today in Uruguay they check the stomachs, and Moshe says about the eagle that has to check for useless treatment.
Yes, because that, if we're machmir like Shitat Rashi, not like Shitat Rashba. Harashba says that it's takana, but lefi Rashi, anything that changes and becomes, the poskim bring that. Darkei Tshuva, Kaf HaChaim.
You wouldn't have to check all these things.
According to Rashba, you don't have to check new things that come up, only if you see reuta. The problem is in the stomachs, they saw reutot. I mean, in order to not to see reutot, you have to give the goy to put it in the garbage immediately and don't look at it.
Didn't the Charedes leave?
We don't speak names. We said we don't speak names. The Hechsherei Me'adrin, they were machmir in that. They said we don't, because also the thing is that it's a new thing that we don't have masoret what is kasher, what is not kasher. If you don't have masoret, sirchot, we have masoret, how to check sirchot, okay? But keres, the stomach, we don't have masoret. So it's the best thing is not to go into it. To go to another country that they don't have that problem. That's what some of the Echsherim did. Okay, now we're going back.
So in America there is no Masorah, so we don't do it.
I don't know. Okay, now we're going back to Chalak. The case of the moach, so according to Rashi, it's miut hamatzui, you have to open the moach. And Kaf HaChaim brings, he says that Ir HaKodesh Tzfat, and the summertime, the sheeps, they have worms in their skull, in the moach, and it's common in the summer. So during the summer, you must open each sheep and check the brain. I was in Tzfat a few years ago, and I told the shochet, it was the first time he heard about that. Today, no such minhag in Tzfat. But it's probably not common today because usually it happens, those sheep that they sleep in the field and the worms climb from their nose, climb up to the brain. Today, everything is modern and clean. They spray against the worms on the grass where they eat. No problems today. That problem. No. We still have rov. Always. There's a very big kushia that asked Rabbi Yonatan Eibeshitz in Sefer Kreiti Upleti. He says, how can we drink milk today? Because we see, especially those cows that give milk, when they reach the shchita, they're already very, very tired and weak. And you check the re'ah, you see most of them are trefa. So how can we drink milk? We have rov trefot. So Rabbi Yonatan answers, he says, most of our trefot that we have are things like, we'll speak soon about the sirchot, is the things that it's not vadai trefa. We are not baki to check it, and we are machmir. It's like chumra be'alma. But klape shmaya galia, that always, it's impossible that we'll say rov be'emot trefot. It's impossible. It can't be. That rov is rov that comes from the chazakah of chizkat chaim. Everybody's, all the be'emot, they're living. So how can it be that no rov be'emot ksherot? It's impossible. Really rov be'emot ksherot. But we don't have the way to know what is kasher and what not, because we're not baki. That's the thing. So, and we're soymech on that. Today, there are also issues of the surgeries that they do to be'emot. In Eretz Yisrael, Baruch Hashem, they have hashgacha. Any cow that has a surgery, so it goes to the non-mehadrin. The milk goes to the non-mehadrin. How can you drink the milk? Because they do bitul. All the other cows are healthy. Only that one. So they put it together with them, and all the milk get mixed up. Okay. It's not lechatchila. It's not lechatchila. It's...
You say it's Isser? You say it's mamash Isser?
What do they do with bitul isur lechatchila?
Is this a vadai treif or safek treif?
Oh, some of the poskim want to say that it's not vadai treif because they what they sew. Today also what they do, the me'adrin, they have a mashgiach of the surgery. A mashgiach comes to the surgery and he sees that he won't make a hole in places that he's not supposed to do. But is there mincha to
25 minutes.
when? 25 minutes. Okay.
If they remove the kidney or anything else, it becomes treif.
Kidney, no, we said that kidney is okay. But if they remove the, let's say, one of the,
In the heart.
yes, no, if they make a hole in the heart, or a hole in the stomach, it's trefa. Okay, so now we have to finish a lot of things. Okay, let's go. So usually we still say rov behemot kshirot. Okay? Now we have a machloket.
אבל מה שנצטרך בשולחן, הסמכים בסוף הלכה למעשה לגבי רוב בהמות כשרות לגבי חלל, שולחן ערוך עשה, שאנחנו עכשיו נמצא, עכשיו נהיה.
כן. No, today they do it.
לא חוששים שהיה לפני.
Yes, today also they do a trick. Today they do a trick. What do? They don't send a behemah that was giving milk. Yes, exactly. They don't send the behemah to shchita till after 3 days. Because the Gemara says that a scar becomes dry in 3 days. And all the sirchot, they are like scars that became dry. So, en sircha pachot mishlosha yamim. Sircha bat yoma היא כשרה. If it's new from today, it's still kasher. Only after 3 days, it can make a hole. Or it tells us that it's a hole. So what they do, they wait 3 days, and then they send it to shchita. And if you find a sircha, you say, it happened in the last 3 days, and the milk there is kosher, because it was before 3 days. Okay?
All the sirchot that they see, they say it's for the past 3 days.
If you open the lung, you open the stomach, and you see like the lung full of sirchot, you can't say, it happened in 3 days. You see, it's already 3 months here already. Okay? Okay, now we have machloket, Shulchan Aruch veRama. Shulchan Aruch says the opinion of Rashba. Rashba in Sefer Torah Habayit says, any sircha that you have in the lung, it's trefa, even if it's very, very thin, like a string of hair, kehut ha'se'ara, it's trefa. Won't help you, even if it's so thin. Won't help you. That's Lashon HaShulchan Aruch, is Lashon HaRashba. But Rama says, and it's not his chidush, it's brought already in Rabbeinu Yerucham, and also Shulchan Aruch agrees with that. Shulchan Aruch says, you're right that even if the sircha is so thin, like chut ha'se'ara, it's a sircha. But that's only if it's chut ha'se'ara that is hard and strong. But if, when I put in, how do we do b'dika? The lung is here, and here we have the diaphragm. Diaphragm is called in Lashon HaKodesh chatzar hakaved, or tarpash hakaved. The bodek makes a hole in the diaphragm and puts in his hand and pats the lung from outside to feel if there's strings or anything strange. Okay? So now he does the b'dika. When he puts in his hand, sometimes he hits some strings and they tear off. So Shulchan Aruch says, if he put in his hands and the string tore off, and you can't find it now, or you find it, but one head of the string is on the ribs, and the other head is on the lung, and you can't find the head on the lung, only on the side of the rib. So that's not a sircha. That's called rir. Or Shulchan Aruch doesn't say rir. Shulchan Aruch says sircha bat yoma. It's like a beginning of sircha, but it's not a real sircha, and it's kasher. So Rama brings that thing, and he says even more. He says not only if the sircha breaks off when you put in your hand, also if you play with the sircha between your fingers, and you play with it. If it's a real sircha, then it will become strong and hard, more and more as you play with it. But if it breaks in your hand and comes off, so that is not a sircha, that's a rir also. And the Rama says, even though it's not written in the Gemara, that heter, and it's against halacha maybe, but minhag, our town, that's the minhag that they do. Now, also, today, nobody does that miuch. He calls it Rama, miuch u'mishmush. In those days, the days of Rama and Shulchan Aruch, so there were two types of meat. Basar ha-sircha and basar ha-miuch u'mishmush. Basar lelo sircha, lelo riri, that's chalak, according to Bet Yosef. And miuch u'mishmush is kasher, lefi Rama. But today, there's a new thing. Like 300 years, they do it. They peel the sircha, not to play with it between the soft part of the finger. Korim mamash. They peel it, but very, very gently, and take off all the strings till it comes off, and then they blow the re'ah, put it in water. If bubbles come out, so that's trefa. If no bubbles come out, they say it's kosher. And a lot of poskim screamed, were mamish against that thing of kiluf. But if we look in the history, we can find that they used to do kiluf in some places, like Morocco, Yemen, they did that kiluf. The Yemen, the Temanim do that kiluf till today. And in Morocco, they called it pulmusa neficha. Was a big fight that happened after the Gerush Sfarad. The Yehudim that were in Tzfon Africa before the Gerush, they were machmir, like a Rashba, that they didn't allow any kiluf or miuch mishmush, only chalak. But the Megorashim that came from Spain, they had a kula of Chachmei Castilla. And they had a kula that you can peel off the sircha and then blow. That's the neficha. Then you blow it, and there was a whole fight. There were Chachamim against, Chachamim be'ad, till it they forgot from the whole thing. But we have witnesses, eduyot, Rav Mashash. He says that it continued also in his days. They did kiluf also in Morocco. And what I found out, I spoke to the old people, also in Paras, Bukhara. They used to do that. Miuch u'mishmush and also kiluf. They did kiluf. And they say that it's mashmaut Rambam, that the Rambam matir et ze. And they used to do that. Why? Because also there was, they didn't have a lot of meat. I mean, if already they did shchita, sometimes the goyim, especially in Teiman or Iran, in Iran, the goyim are very strict. They hold that any meat that comes from Yehudi is tameh. That's what they say. Other Muslims, they eat from the shchitat Israel. But the Iranim, the Shi'im, they don't eat. Also by Teiman, the Houtim, they don't eat from the shchitat Israel. So the Teimanim, they had to be mekel. It's not I didn't make it up. Bet Yosef already says that. He says, why do Chachmei Castilla mekel be kiluf asirchot? He says because the Goyim in Castilia, they don't agree to eat from the Shchitat Israel. But the Goyim in Greece, they agree to eat from Shchitat Israel. Therefore, in Greece, the Megurashei Sfarad are Machmir, the Machmirim. Not to eat from the Sirchot at all. Any Sircha is Asur. But the Shulchan Aruch, he said like, that it's Taref even Kechut Asara, Kmo Rashbo. But I heard from Chacham Ben Zion Abba Shaul, when the days that Rav Ovadia Yosef, Halav Shalom, he started mamish to scream everywhere he went. He said, even the Ashkenazim have to be machmir in Eretz Israel like Maran Bet Yosef, Hashla Kadosh. He came from Prague to Eretz Israel, and he told the tzava'ah to his children, he said, in Eretz Israel, even everybody has to be machmir, not to eat from the sircha. Also, Chokhmat Adam, Chaye Adam, he has a sefer of Minagei Eretz Israel. I forgot the name. Tzedek, something. Sharei Tzedek. He says also Ashkenazim have to be machmir in Sirchot in Eretz Israel because that's Atrei de Maran, the place of Bet Yosef. So Rav Ovadia he spoke about that everywhere. But what can we do? If we look at the statistics, I mean the numbers, real chalak like Rav Ovadia wants, it's 5%, 8%, not more, never more than 10. That will have a lung that has no strings, like Rashba says. הרי זה מאכיל טרפות, כאילו מאכיל טרפות לישראל, אפילו כחוט השערה. What happened? Maybe in the days of Bet Yosef, they had cows like we have today near Amuka in Tzfat. They go in the mountains there. They breathe very fresh air. They have nothing in the lungs. They're very healthy. But the cows that are regular cows, so you can't find. And you see, you have to give meat for everybody. We have in one night in Yerushalayim, we have 10 weddings, 40 bar mitzvot. We have 200 yeshivas. Everybody needs meat. So you can't feed everybody a real glut of Bet Yosef. So when Rav Ovadia, that's what he said. He didn't say that there is a kula or anything. He held that Bet Yosef is Bet Yosef as written. 1 second. But I heard from Chacham Ben Zion Abba Shaul, he said that he checked. He said, Lo itkabla chumrat abet Yosef etzel asfaradim. He said, the Moroccans, Parasim, Bukharim, he knows for sure, Temanim, for sure, they didn't do Bet Yosef. Only, he says, only Bavlim v'Chalabim. And that was maybe in Bavel, in Chalab, where they had goyim that they can share with them. Rabbi Yonatan Aybesh, it says, Kasher shebatabachim shutafo shel Amalek. Okay? So that's the tabachim. It's mamish a curse. Say such a thing on the tabachim. So Rabbi Yonatan says, no, it's not. Nobody's cursing the tabachim. It's etzah tova. Etzah tova. If you want to be the kasher shebatabachim, do a shutafut with one Amalek, with a goy, and sell him all the trefot, and then you'll be a kasher shebatabachim. Okay? So that in Chutz La'aretz you can do that. But in Eretz Israel you can't do that. You have a lot of Israelim, and not a lot of goyim. We need all the meat. So Chacham ben Zion said he checked and he saw that only the Chalabim, Bavlim, Kafachaim, yes, they were machmir, Zivchei Tzedek, they were machmir with the real Chalak. But afterwards came very hard years of the World War and Ra'av and Tzena, and then he said he saw the Chachmei HaChalabim, the Chachmei HaBavlim, the Chalak that they gave out, it wasn't, they called it Chalak Bet Yosef and it was Shchitat Bet Yosef, it wasn't Chalak. It wasn't Chalak, like as written. It wasn't Chalak. Rabbeinu Achida also probably was made, that's what I think, I didn't search.
He was not from Syria, but from Yemen.
No, he was from his family from Hebron.
Yeah.
Hebron, but he went to Italy. So in Italy, he was able. It's not Shmuot. It's not Shmuot. It's Yediyah that we saw. We saw that that's the minhag, and it's not Shmuot. I'll tell you. They say Chalak Bet Yosef, all the Echsherim. Okay, if it is 8%, how can every supermarket have a meat of 4 cows?
When they put their hand inside.
All of them, everything. It's not the Mitziut. It's not. It's not. Shaish is that they call it. They call the real glad. They call it shaish. What is shaish? It's smooth like marble. Okay, but it doesn't exist more than 5 till 8%. It doesn't exist.
What the Bodek puts his hand in the lungs.
It will give you another percent, 2%. It won't give you a supermarket with a giant freezer full of meat in every neighborhood.
So you have 10%, you have 20 shkitot, you're shechting 1,000 animals a day.
But it's impossible. Each animal gives you 400 kilo. Okay, so you have in the supermarket you have more than the percents of the.
But if you have 1,000 animals that are big enough, they're coming into a market a day.
Everything is possible, but it doesn't happen. It's not what happens. Okay? So Chacham ben Zion has his special shita. It's cholek al Rav Ovadia. Rav Ovadia brings a very clear thing that Bet Yosef wrote in the Akdama לבית יוסף. אני באתי רק, לא באתי להכריע במקום שיש מנהג. If you have מחלוקת ראשונים and I say something, it's only places you don't have minhag. But places that minhag kadam lemaran, of course everybody agrees that you go according to the minhag. Chacham ben Zion has a special shita. He says that if we see, even after Maran, you see that all the Sfaradim, they're not noheg a minhag of Maran. It tells you two things. Or that milchatchila they weren't mekabel al atzmam chumrei Maran, or that they were mekabel, and then they saw it's difficult or it doesn't come or something changed, and they have now a new Kabbalah, new minhag, and they're allowed to do it because the Chachamim הסכימו. נכון, אין בית דין רשאי לבטל דברי בית דין חברו, אלא אם כן גדול ממנו בחוכמה או במניין, but the matzav was that. Okay, so now we have to know, also we have to know one thing. Chalak Bet Yosef is one detail of a machloket rishonim in safek trefa, safek, okay? But the system of meat, we have sheelot of nevelot וטרפות, סכין פגומה, yes, סכין פגומה, שיש לה, one second, shochet, a normal shochet today in a non-mehadrin, okay, that has to shecht 15 chicken a minute, and he has to check the sakin that it will be chad v'chalak, that he can pass his nail on the blade and nothing will happen. It won't jump, won't get stuck, won't like this. And to keep the sakin like that, and he shechts for half an hour or an hour, and he get paid by head. By head. That means, as fast as you work, the balabait is satisfied, and if you don't do whatever they want, so you're fired because you're too slow. Okay? So that is much more chamur than the inyan of glat. Okay? Or if you have a hechsher that at 12 o'clock the bus comes and takes everybody, they all run to the shower, change clothes, and go home. And leave all the meat that they did. Chalak bet Yosef, ritzpa, shaish, sakin, chad v'chalak, everything was terrific. Melicha, lechumra, lashulchan, everything. Okay? But they left, they leave one mashgiach, and you ask him, how can you manage with all? He says, no, I have cameras, yes. He's speaking, and he sees in the camera everything, okay? Okay? And the balabait, the goy, that he sells 1 pound of meat, kosher meat, is 3 times of the non-kosher, and you leave everything open. Yes, the mashgiach will close everything, will do everything, huh? Okay? So we have so many details. Nikur, that you'll do nikur, the real nikur that you're supposed to do to take off the chelev. There are chalavim deoraita, that the places that they don't take off. And we have sheelot deoraita shel karet, dam. Dam is also kritut. Dam shebishlo, okay, lo chayav alav, מהתורה. And there are that also dam shebishlo. But we have a lot of sheelot. So Chacham Ben Zion said, the chalak bet Yosef is one detail. If they say, look, this is Ramah, so don't take it, because they tell you it's not for you. Okay. But if they say, this is chalak bet Yosef, and the reason that they say chalak bet Yosef is not because really the lungs are so clean and clear, but they mean, when they say chalak bet Yosef, they mean that the sakin is good, that the mashgichim are good. They don't let any schora go out before it's all wrapped and cut and checked, and the delivering is by with hashgacha. And
only in Israel or in America too?
I know Israel. I know
All this percentage.
anything I speak Israel, double it and triple it, and that's America. Okay. So,
Regarding the
okay. So I mean, when you want kosher meat, you need that the whole system will be in high level. What is the secret? Shlomo HaMelech, he also had a giant suda, ve'alafim, elef olot. He also did a lot of shchitot. There also was like that? No. He paid, he was rich. He paid and he brought more shochatim, more mashgichim, and he did everything. You can have lo alman Israel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised us, lo tishachach mipi zaro. We can do kosher shchita in factories. We can do 10,000 ofot. But add shochatim, add mashgichim. But how can you do that? Pay more. The clients have to pay more. It has to be more expensive. Like anything you do, you want it to be better, you have to pay more. Like etrog, like matzah, like everything. Shchitat chabura, but it has to be good chabura. It's like a group of chabura will make matzot, and they don't know anything. They didn't learn ilchot matzah, shiur rach matzah. They don't know all the things. So how does it look like? Chabura has to be people that know what they're doing.
Us as consumers, we don't know. We see a piece of meat that's basic.
You know what I'm saying? So then, So what do you do?
Everything else is being serious, not the radio itself.
What do you do? First of all, the first thing you have to do is open your wallet. Don't think about the prices. Don't think about prices. You have to look for the Arav Machshir that you know that he's responsible and he's in the plant, he's in the place, and he knows exactly what goes on there. And every time you come in, you see a mashgiach, you see everything is working. There's a butcher I go, every time I come in, where's the mashgiach? Oh, he went out for lunch, he went out for mincha, he went out for that, he's soon coming, okay?
That's the store. I'm talking about how do I treat the house.
Okay, you have, look. Today the problem is all those places are far away and they like it. They say, you can come see. Yeah, so who will go to Iowa, okay? So, but things are known. I mean, you know the person, you can see him, you can tell, according to the Achrayas, Nirat Shamayim.
I go to a good butcher, and like the Rav said, everything there in the butcher shop is on top of it. The meat says on it, Beit Yosef, can I buy it?
So I say, you have to know that the whole system is a high level, okay?
How is every consumer supposed to know that?
The things that you see the Rabbanim, you see the what goes in the yeshiva, you see, you have to...
A lot of yeshivas will tell you that it's not Bet Yosef should not rely on it.
B'diavad, can we rely on something? If we go out, b'diavad, can we eat not Bet Yosef as Sephardim?
If you know that all the other things are very good, okay?
I don't know.
But it doesn't say not Bet Yosef. It says Bet Yosef, but you don't believe them, okay?
Basically everybody.
Yes, it's basically everybody. I'll tell you a joke. I'll finish with a joke. None of them says Chalak Shulchan Aruch. They all say Chalak Bet Yosef. Bet Yosef, you have all the deot. You have Miuch Mishmush, you have Niur, you have everything in Bet Yosef. Okay?